Kuraiinu, the man, the myth, the legend himself. You have been
gosh, how sweet.
You've been around for a long time. You've been around for a while.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my god.
I hope you are excited. Are you excited?
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Pretty pumped.
I'm really excited. So, for those who are watching right now, if you've never seen this before, in which that will be all of you because this should be the first episode. Basically, this is an interview series that I'm doing where I'm asking really awesome people questions about the past, present, and future. So the past obviously is going to be reflection questions. Present is going to be more about how you're feeling right now, and the future is going to be more about how you feel about the future. Are you excited? I already asked that.
Yep. Can I again? Yep. Mega excited.
And for those, I'm sure you don't need an introduction, but if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to anybody who might not know who you are.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? I am Kuraiinu. That's 2 words. Kuraiinu, meaning dark dog in Japanese. I am a vocalist, producer, and a bunch of other things. I've had way too much time on my hands, but yeah, what's up?
Hell yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and start with the past. Ooh.
Ooh.
All right. So this is a first pretty simple question. Do you consider yourself a Vtuber, Youtaite, PNG tuber, or just some dude who sings for fun?
I'm everything. Yeah, I consider myself all those things 'cause I've dabbled in everything. So I'd say, yeah, I'm a VTuber who sings and makes music.
Yeah, of course. And you started making content 11 years ago. At least on your Kuraiinu YouTube channel. Was there
Yeah.
anything you were doing before that content-wise, or was that kind of really where you started?
Whoo! All right. Buckle up. So, I did not intend to be doing this as long as I did. I actually, before any of this YouTube stuff ever happened, I originally was going to be a manga artist. I was gonna like publish manga in Japan. It was like
Oh,
the
hell
biggest
yeah.
thing that I was actually what's the word? I was kind of gunning for that, and I was actively getting materials. I was learning about the industry, and I was like, "Yeah, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna get into this." And then one fateful day, an artist friend of mine on DeviantArt was like, "Hey, have you ever heard
Oh
of
my God,
Vocaloid?" And I was like,
DeviantArt.
yeah. She was like, "Oh, you ever heard of Vocaloid?" And I was like, "What's that?" And I looked it up on DeviantArt and I saw this fan art and I was like, "Oh, what anime is this?" And the deeper I looked into it, I was like, "Oh, it's music made by vocal synths. That's crazy. What is all of this?" And I checked that out for a little bit and I was like, "That's really cool." And then I kind of just had that as background music for a while, and then I came across someone's like they were like recruiting voice actors for a project on DeviantArt, and I was like, "Oh, this sounds really cool. I've never done voice acting before. Maybe I could try out." And on a very very separate channel that I can send to you, because that video is still up because I don't have the login information, so I can't delete it. Is a like voice acting audition thingy I did, and then that was how I fell into the voice acting community because they had like a big forum that was called, I think it was called the Voice Acting Alliance. Those who know will know and will get flashbacks about that because that
Yeah,
was a really big place where a lot of people who are in the industry now actually started from there.
yeah.
And I fell into voice acting for a while. And then through there, I found that people were doing covers of songs. And I was like, oh, like, let me try that. And then on that same channel is actually where my very first cover was ever uploaded. And I got a comment from a friend being like, your voice is really nice. And I was like, is it? Wow, thanks. I guess I'll keep doing this. And the rest is history.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's super cool. I think it's always interesting to find out like like where people came from. I think
Mhm.
it's a really fun way to realize that people can come from literally anywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. If you just apply yourself to something that you want to do, you can probably do it. Not even probably, you can do
Yep.
it, you know?
Absolutely.
Um and when you began making content, was there ever a
Mhm.
moment you thought that it would like do well, or you just started because you wanted to?
Ooh, it's a very good question. When I think about it, at the time, there were like, oh gosh, there were about like 3 people that I really looked up to. My motivation back then wasn't necessarily to try to become like a big shot.
Mhm.
My actual motivation back then was like, I really want to get to know these people. I
Oh
want to
my
get to work
god.
with them one day. And as a result, I was like, okay, I'm gonna push myself to get better and better and do cooler things so that senpai notices me. Essentially, was my main motivation. And then like kind of through that, I think the notoriety actually was kind of like a like an after effect because I wasn't actively pursuing that because for me, I was just like, I just want to meet these cool people and sing songs with them, and that was mainly what I was going for.
Yeah.
I never really thought it would necessarily blow up because back then when I was doing it, it wasn't the hugest community at the time. So it really was just a bunch of, silly teenagers singing songs in a language that none of us really spoke fluently. And that was really just what we were doing. We're just having fun. There were people who were like, more well known in the community. And for me, I was like, I want to get to know them because they seem really cool.
Yeah.
So I just kind of got obsessed with the idea of like trying to befriend all these people and doing whatever I could to get to that point.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Totally, yeah. I get that for sure. Um, I think a lot of people kind of started noticing when you like started noticing you in your content from like the stronger than you responses. I know that's like the first time I ever saw from you,
Mhm.
but it is not your most viewed video. Mine brand is
It's
your most
not.
viewed.
Yeah.
Now, most of these that like when you started popping off was from 8 years ago, right?
Mhm.
And when you look back on it, do you regret any of the posts that you made during that time? Or are you pretty happy with how your time on the internet has been?
I'm very happy with how my time on the internet has been. Like even if like in the past, there's people that I used to work with who maybe we're not on good terms anymore, I'm still
Mhm.
like, you know what? Those memories are very precious. I remember enjoying working on this, that. Like I can there are several times when I'll just like go back to like the oldest videos of mine and be like, I remember exactly how I felt when I was recording this. I remember exactly what was going on in my life when this was uploaded, yada yada yada. And yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't think there's a single video that I necessarily regret because I'm like, you know what, this came from pure passion, and more often than not, I'll get very, very excited to the point where like my heart will like pound and I'll be like, I can't wait to record this. This is gonna be so much fun. So I can always recall feeling that way when I did a lot of those videos.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh my God, I love that. That's such an awesome answer. That's not the answer like I don't know what I was expecting. Like I was expecting you to be like, nah, no regrets. I wasn't expecting like a whole talk about how passionate you are about what you do. No, I love that
And
so much.
nah, man, like when you've been doing there's a reason I'm still doing it now, and it's because I really do love doing this.
Oh,
It's like
absolutely.
the fire has not died out. I don't know if it ever will, honestly.
Yeah, no, for sure. Um, if you were to go back in time and
Mhm,
redo going into content creation and singing wasn't an option and being a Youtaite wasn't an option, what do you
mhm.
think you would make content for?
Oh, I would have been like a storytime animator.
Oh,
I
that's so
definitely
cool.
would have been a storytime animator. Yeah, because like I used to make comics all the time since I was very, very young. So I
Mhm.
have like that skill set like in my brain. I know how to panel things, know how to make like fun stories with illustrations. So I'm like, oh, I would have very easily fallen into like the era where Jaden Animations, Domics,
Yeah.
uh what's the other guy? Odd One
Odd
Out.
one.
I would have
Yeah.
definitely been in that community.
No, that's super cool. I love that. Um, okay. So you've worked with some amazing people,
Mhm,
from Reichi to Musical Ghost to Anna Pantsu. When you look
mhm.
back on all of the interactions you've had with people back in the day near when you were coming up, was there anybody you attribute a lot of your knowledge or success to? Like, is there anybody who really pushed you to become like the best version that you can be?
Hmm. Hmm. It's a very good question. Hmm. Gosh, I really have to think about that. Whew.
These,
Um,
I mean, I warned you beforehand. These weren't going to be like the most basic
oh
of
yeah, no,
questions.
I love to like really have to think about that because that's that's very very good question. Hmm. This is actually someone that I don't know if a lot of people know her name, but her name is Doobie, Doubie
Mhm,
9927. She was like an OG Youtaite.
mhm.
And back then she sung a cover of Leia, which is by Youtaites. And at the time she was only 14 and
Oh
she was
wow.
hitting notes that I've never heard a person hit in my life. And that cover was so inspirational.
Mhm.
And she was actually one of the main people who like really pushed me to want to improve more in singing and learn like mixing techniques and all that. So actually, I'd probably attribute most of my growth and how I became as good as I am because of her, and also
Yeah.
a lot of the early friends I met in the community as well. A lot of them pushed me as well, but especially people like Reichi, Juvie, and Apantsu. A lot of them as well. Working with them was like very inspirational because I'm like, oh, they taught me how to record multiple layers and how to the different ways to express your voice and stuff like that. And so
Yeah.
I'd say yeah, a lot of them were kind of important people to have met and worked with in the past.
Yeah, no, for sure. Um, so obviously when you started, VTubing didn't
Mhm.
exist. Um,
Nope.
so when VTubers started appearing and you were saw they were able to do kind of the same things that you were doing, but in a different way, what was your reaction to that?
My I was like, finally, something like this is real and it's profitable and everyone's doing it and it's no longer seen as weird. Because when I tell you, oh my God, since high school, I've
Mhm.
fantasized about being able to become any one of my OCs and like create a world and have people engage with that world and be able to make stories, music, content, illustrations, comics, and all of that stuff surrounded by that OC. I've always wanted to do something like this, but I never really knew how to go about it. And I've kind of played around with the idea of it several times in the past because I've had a different account where I used to post a bunch of art and I always made comics and stuff. And I
Yeah.
remember just being like, man, I'm glad people like these characters, but like I wanna role play as my own character. And
Yeah.
there are like a lot of roleplay communities in the art community and where you can pick a character and you can become them, but I was like, I don't know if this is necessarily what I want to do. I want to create a more immersive experience, but I don't know how to go about it. So when VTubing became a thing, I was very excited and I was like,
Yeah.
finally, like this is my time, this is my moment. I get to do what I've imagined doing since high school.
Yeah. No, definitely for sure. No, that's super cool. It's VTubing kind of just showed up like, out of nowhere during the pandemic
Hmm.
season. Maybe
Yep.
like a tiny bit before pandemic season, but man,
Yeah.
I remember when I started seeing VTubers and I was like, at first I thought it was weird. I was like, oh, why are people doing that? And then as I got more and more invested into it and fell down the rabbit hole as one does, um,
Yep.
I was like, you know, I guess it's cool, but I wouldn't ever be one.
Yep, that's how it happens.
That's always how it gets you. So so I have a segment.
All right.
That I plan on reoccurring. Fun fact, you are actually the third person that I'm interviewing, but you will be episode 1.
Hey.
Oh,
yay.
So I have this segment that I'm kind of reoccurring, where over your time on the internet, you have posted various of covers, lots of different songs, lots of different fun things. There's a few odd ones that you have, though. There's a couple odd.
I'm so excited.
There's a couple oddballs that you have on your channel.
So excited.
I was just wondering if you would like to explain the context behind this video.
Yo, okay. So here's one thing you need to know about me. My very, very first fandom obsession was Sonic, and it's still Sonic. Like, if you when you ever get to meet me IRL and like we're hanging out at an Airbnb, you're gonna see me like take out a Sonic blanket that I always have wrapped around me. Every single day I have one wrapped around me. This is important context, because when I found out they were making a Sonic movie, I was like, oh, I was like, yeah, like live action. This could be really cool. This could be like the biggest thing for Sega. This will finally be his moment, because Sonic has been kind of on a decline since like 2010. And good Lord Almighty, when this movie trailer came out, I was like, what? Why he look like that? So
I think that was everyone's reaction, honestly. We were all like, why he look like that? Hello?
I was like, why it look like that? And me, because I'm a shit poster at heart. Like that's part of my passion. I don't get to do it very often, but when I do, I like to go all in. So I felt very inspired. I was like, I'm gonna make a really silly thingy. So I like made an arrange of the opening song for Sonic 1, and then I sung along to it, and then and then that happened, and it happened 2 more times, because they after this happened, I believe they went through and they remade his model.
Yeah,
so he
they
no longer
redesigned
looked
him.
very creepy, and I was like, so I made like a response to that. I was like, yay, finally, thank goodness. And then I made another one when the second movie trailer came out. So I was like, this is, it just became a really funny thing for me. Like I love to make goofy stuff in the middle of everything that completely like confuses people, because I'm like, hey, never let them know your next move, right?
Definitely. No, that's a fun way to think about it. Never let them know your next move. Speaking of next move, this was posted near the same time, but is also a little bit of another odd one. And I was wondering if you mind explaining this one as well for me. You get a twofer. Everyone else has gotten one. You get a twofer, because I just found multiple that I was like, oh, this is so funny. I need to know the context. Here's the second one.
Did you do that?
Okay, so I adore the Zootopia movies so much.
Yeah.
And one fateful day, I came across a fully rendered comic that someone made on DeviantArt, where it was essentially like a comic where Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde were talking about getting an abortion. And I was like, what? Well, I was like, what is going on? And me and a friend were like reading it, and we were just like living our best life, because I was like, this is amazing. Like, the art is so well made, to the point where you'd think someone from Disney made this. And I just found this one panel, and fun fact, I used to produce fan dubs back in the day, so I know how to like make comic dubs in this way.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'm gonna take out this skill set just to like dub this one part of it.
This one
really
panel
funny to make. Yeah, this one panel, because I was just like, something about it really spoke to me spiritually. So I was like, hey, I asked a friend of mine, I was like, hey, you want to do this with me? And she was like, yeah, let's do it. And we recorded it. I made the video, and then I posted it, and then I just moved on with my life. And every now and then someone reminds me this exists, and I always laugh and feel so happy because I'm like, this is just one of those moments where I'm like, yeah, I just saw this thing and I felt weirdly inspired, so I spent a couple hours making it.
Yeah. No, that's so funny. When I was doing the research, obviously I had to go through like your whole channel. I went through like your Twitter and some other like I looked at where you've been posting, right?
Mhm.
And I saw both the Sonic video and the Say Did You Do That video. And I was like, I need to know. Like, I need to know what are these about. And this, like, I did your research first because you're episode 1. So that's like literally where this reoccurring segment came from, was when I saw those 2 videos and I was like, I need to know the context. And then when I started researching for other people for the other interviews, I was like, okay, I'm gonna bring back this segment because they also have some like oddball stuff that I'm like, that would be fun to just ask about for the past questions. Speaking of funny moments during your time online and your career, have you ever become a meme?
Yes.
How do you feel about it?
Oh God. Oh, if there's one thing I've learned is that you cannot predict what moment of yours people are going to choose to immortalize.
Yeah.
Because, oh my God. So should I explain what moment I became a meme? Because I don't know if you can find this, but it was going around for quite a while.
Okay.
So the K-pop group G-Idol has a song from their debut album called Dollar. And in the beginning of it, it's like a and then there's like a text-to-speech voice going dollar, dollar, dollar. So I think that was was it 2019 or 2018? In that time, I was like really getting into rapping in Korean and
Yeah.
rapping K-pop songs. So I was like, hey, I'll do like a little cover of this. And I like did like a face cam cover of it. And you know, which honestly I think I ate the rap. I was doing really well on it. But the moment that got memed on was me going dollar, dollar, dollar. And that went all over the K-pop community for a while, and I just like I saw it once, and I was like, I'm gonna pretend this doesn't exist, and I'm not gonna look at it. So I'm pretty sure that's somewhere that can be found. Oh my God, I was like, why this? Why me?
I think what makes that even crazier is the fact that you primarily most of the time do not show your face. I mean, you have shown your face a few times. Of course, it's the time that you have shown your face that goes viral. That becomes a meme.
I think a lot about that. I'm like, okay. It's like, you guys, please. But it's fine. You know what? If anyone ever needs to find me, I'm like, okay, well, here I am. Enjoy.
Yeah, for sure. Well, this is the last question of the past questions. So here's my final question for you when it comes to reflecting on the past. What do you think is the best era of Kuraiinu?
Ooh. Okay, that question is not necessarily something I don't consider my best era, but I do consider it an era where I was like, okay, like I'm really kind of popping off. This is fun. Everything's going great. 2014, I'd say, was the first of my best eras because you know this whole content creator thing is like there's ebbs and flows. There's moments where it's like golden era, and then it's like it's kind of a steady right now, and then golden era, and then so I'd say my first golden era was 2014 because that was when I did on a previous channel. That was when I did Unravel, and that was my very first moment of going viral, like very very viral. And it was just really surreal moment because I was like, oh my God, like people I look up to are talking about this, and I'm seeing like Japanese Youtaite talking about this, and I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. So I'd say that's something that really sticks out to me. 2014.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Would you also say that's probably the time that you had the most fun doing what you do?
No, actually, believe it or not, that's probably not when I was most enjoying it. I'd say I was having the most fun 2017. That was when like Mind Brand, Monster, and all that stuff happened.
Mm, yeah, for sure. All right. Now let's talk about the present.
Present.
The present. So, do you consider yourself famous in this space? Or do you kind of consider yourself still unknown?
Ooh, good question. I'd say I underestimate how many people actually pay attention to what I do.
Mhm.
So I think that's what I'd say. So I don't necessarily consider myself to be like, oh, he's really famous, really popular. I don't really consider it. 'Cause for me, I don't really look that much into everything because I try to
Mhm.
just focus on I'm just gonna make cool stuff and not really see what other people are saying too much because that's a black hole that I've fallen into many times. And when you do
Absolutely.
that, sometimes you see things said about yourself and you're like, oh, so
Yeah.
yeah, I
100%.
I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say that I think I am. I don't think I am.
Yeah, for sure. You feel like you're in the middle of unknown and known because you underestimate how many people
Yeah.
watch you, but you know that people do watch you.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
For sure. Um Now, do you ever see yourself compared to other singers and Youtaites in the space?
That's that happens all that's happened since I started.
Yeah.
And I've gotten used to it. Like it
Mhm.
does not bother me at all. It
Mhm.
used to for a while. It used to really bother me, but then I was like, you know what? No, like it's an honor, so it no longer bothers me. But yeah, that does happen, and it still happens to this day.
What is one comparison that you find bothered you the most, and then one comparison that you felt like was a big compliment?
Very good question. Um, ooh, we really have to dig deep for that one. Let me see. Comparison. Okay, so back in 2016, it was like 2016, 2017. I know this is like present, but like I'm going back.
Yeah, no, that's
Back in
totally
around
fair.
2016 era, I was really getting back into making, English covers of songs. So I'd
Yeah.
write my own lyrics, and I used to always get compared to people would be like, "Oh, I think Juby did this better. I think Rachel did this better." And
Mhm.
that used to always bother me because I was like, I'm doing my best with my own stuff, you guys. Like I'm my own person. I'm doing these things too. Don't compare us to each other. We're all doing it in different ways. We have different brains. Like, don't do that. And then I eventually got over that. And
Yeah.
I think the comparison that honestly feels like a compliment is I have gotten compared to Will Stetson and Trickle a lot, and I'm like, well, they're two really cool and good people that at what they do. So I'm like, oh, thank you. I'm glad to be considered among like the big three. Essentially, I'm like, oh wow, okay, yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
I
You know,
appreciate that. Like, oh,
I totally get that. When I first started watching you, admittedly quite a while ago, uh,
mhm.
I myself compared you to Will Stetson a lot because Will Stetson was the other like English cover guy that I
Mhm.
I listened to since I don't know 2015 or something. Um,
Mhm.
and so I definitely get the like you getting compared to Will Stetson because every time when I
Mhm.
used to watch your guys' content, I'd be like, all right, so you got Kuraiinu. It's like I was thinking more of like what's like trends. Like, oh, this song is popping off.
Yeah.
I know Kuraiinu and Will Stetson are gonna make a cover of this at some point soon. You know? That's what that's where my brain was going. I was like, all right, who's gonna make the cover first? Like
trust and believe. I'd think that too. I'd be like, am I gonna get mine out first, or one of them gonna do it first? It was always very fun to think about it that way.
Absolutely. Not to make this about myself, but like even when I was like doing my thing back in like more so like 2022, 2023, like when Kickback came out, I was like, oh, I gotta be the first one. And then like in the back room came out too, also from Chainsaw Man, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna be the first one. I remember so specifically that I thought I was gonna be the first person to do In the Back Room, and then and then Dangle beat me out by just like a day, like a single day, and I was like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
So here's a little bit more of a personal question. And I think this is something that both me and other people might be interested in. Are you able to live off of your content by itself, or do you rely on an outside source of income in order to live day by day?
I am able to live off my content, especially when I was really okay, since we're getting personal, when I was really sick, back in 2017, I was like the sickest in that time. And I was like, I really want to try seeing if I can like, monetize this stuff, put it on online stores. And I kept making stuff even though I was really sick. And then eventually I was able to like pay off hospital bills, hospital expenses around that time. So yeah, I'd say I absolutely am able to do that, which is a blessing considering everything that I went through to get to this point. I'm like, oh, thank goodness this worked out. 'Cause I don't know what else I'd do, especially while I was very sick and couldn't really do much of anything. I was like, I'm glad I still had this that I could still do.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's awesome. So how do you feel about the new wave of like Vsingers and Youtaites and Vtubers when they randomly kind of show up and blow up? Is it something that you think like, yo, I've been doing this for so long and these guys, they exploded in like 2 covers? Or are you more of the type of person to be happy to see others succeed?
It's a mixed bag because there is a part of me that's like, yo, I've been at this for so long. Where's my time? When is my time? But then also I was like, you know what? It's fine. If anything, the amount of time that it's taken I've been able to learn so many things. I've been able to grow in many different ways that and because I'm not as big as a lot of people are, I've been able to grow and make mistakes without being judged on a huge scale, which I think is a blessing.
Mhm.
And so part of me feels kind of bad when I see new Vsingers come out and then blowing up very, very quickly before they've had a chance to figure out like, oh, where do I want to take this direction? I kind of want to experiment with this. Like, well, what's this like? Or they don't really get the chance to necessarily mess up in small ways. Because when you're that big and you mess up in small ways, everyone looks at you. Everyone is saying has an opinion to give, and also just in general, everyone has an opinion to give on how you are when you're just starting out, which I think is very, very I wouldn't say it stunts the growth, but it definitely makes it really scary to venture out of what you're already known for,
Yeah,
because it's like,
100%.
oh, a million people already want this one thing from me. I can't do anything else because I'll lose these million people, because at the end of the day, we are human, and a lot of attention feels great, and it's like you want to do anything you can to keep that attention. But I think a lesson that a lot of people don't get to learn when they blow up too quickly is that the attention comes and goes, and it's more important is cultivating the people that will stay no matter what. I think that's really what matters.
Absolutely. 100%. Definitely. And seeing the way that the internet has changed over the past 11 years and seeing how things have evolved, do you think it's evolved for the better or for the worse?
I'd say for the worst, honestly, because it's so everything's so fast paced
Mhm.
and it encourages people to be very fast paced and go, go, go. Don't stop. Stay on the treadmill. You got to keep doing this, doing this. And if you don't keep doing this, then you're gonna fall behind very quickly. And it's so dangerous because as someone who battled a chronic illness, that's not possible to do for a
Mhm.
very long time. Like you really got to learn to how good it is to just be off for a while and not do a single thing related to content and then come back and make the thing and then leave again, take the break. But this I feel like this current ecosystem does not encourage that, and I think it's so sad to see it too because I see people every day crashing out on Twitter and all the other social medias about like, "Oh man, you guys, I'm falling off. Like I'm not able to do this thing for a week and I'm falling behind everyone else." And I'm like, "Oh, I wish I could just like shake them and be like, "No, it's good that you're falling off. Trust me, it's good that you are because there's less pressure, I promise."
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you think that when you have less eyes on you, that's like better for your mental health when it comes to making content?
yes,
Mhm.
absolutely. Because I've seen what that does to people. I've seen what the huge amounts of eyes and all of the attention and all of the and even though the success is great, I've seen the dark side of what that does to someone's psyche and just how they navigate the world. And I'm like, oh man, that's very. I mean, and I've experienced a taste of it too. So I'm like, I know the like all the sides of it, and it's really scary.
Mhm.
But also at the same time, I'd say it can't have its good sides because it's like, okay, you have a voice that people want to hear and they want to hear what you have to say. And I think that can be exciting because you're like, oh, I can finally say these feelings I've had about certain things, and I can, put that into the world and people will actually pay attention. So I think it's very much a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
I'd say sometimes it has more bad than it has good, but the good
Mhm.
is really good, but man, when the bad is bad, it's very bad.
Yeah. Yeah, for
Oh,
sure. Um, what do you think is the most underrated piece of advice that you've been given that you would like to share with the world?
I say this to so many people, and this is something that I learned from someone, and the advice essentially goes: make stuff and be prepared for it to flop, and keep making stuff anyway, and
Mhm.
be okay with that.
Mhm.
Because oh, when you become like when you get too into your head of like, oh, I really want to do this thing that I know will do well, you kind of box yourself in to the point where you no longer have any passion because it's more so you're chasing you're chasing the next big break, and that gets very exhausting. As someone who used to do that, it gets very, very exhausting, and just taking the time to make things that you really care about, even if it never does well, I think is so much more worthwhile because I've really gotten into the idea of like intrinsic joy and like really being able to look back on something you made and being like, wow, I really had fun doing that. And then this is something I'm very proud of to the point where I could show like family members it. So
Yeah.
it's like I think being able to do that is very very worthwhile because this quote unquote industry will suck the soul out of you if you let it. And I think being able to remember to take those moments to make things that make you happy is also important too because it's like I equate it to it's kind of like the artistic equivalent of taking a walk in the park every now and again, just make a thing because you want to see it.
Yeah. No, definitely. For sure. So, you've recently returned back to Vocaloid Productions.
Yeah.
How does it feel?
It feels incredible. Oh my god. Like I forgot how much I loved it. I really
Yeah.
did. I really did.
Go ahead. Explain your lore behind where you started to where you are now when it comes to Vocaloid production.
Ooh, okay. So back in 2015,
Mhm.
I was really into the producer Camellia. He's a Japanese producer. He makes a lot of music for like
I
rhythm
love
games and stuff like that.
Camellia.
But yeah, but something a lot of people don't know, especially a lot of his recent fans, they don't know that he used to produce a lot of Vocaloid music. Like he
Yeah.
has, I think he has 5 Miku albums, and they're all incredible. And those really inspired me very much so. And in 2015, I was like, I really want to sit down and learn how to produce. So I spent a long time just remaking all of his songs on Reaper and being like, wow, okay, this is
Wow.
really difficult, but I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna learn how to do this. And I mostly use Reaper because he used Reaper.
Yeah, he
So I was
uses
like, I'm
Reaper.
gonna learn how to do this, which which is crazy. And eventually in 20, was it 2017? 20 around 2017, I was like, okay, I think I'm good enough that I can start to put vocals on this. And I was like, at the time, I was really into Len Kagamine. So I was like, I want to make my first song with him. So I made a song called Citrus, and that was like the very first Vocaloid song I ever produced. But I actually did like make a bunch of different other songs that were like demos, but I was like, this one isn't perfect yet. But Citrus was
Yeah.
the very first one where I was like, okay, this is a fully fleshed work. I got a video made and released it out into the world, and I was like, "This is so fun." Because you can do anything, and you can insert anybody into these stories and make whatever you want, and I was like, "This is really exciting." And I then proceeded to make another song with Miku called Bubblegum, which was really fun. That was like that song in particular was one of my personal favorites because I was like, "Ooh, I really feel like I'm getting really good at this." And I remember at the time because I had made a version with Miku and with Reichi, and I remember at the time, a very kind thing Rachel had said to me when I sent her the demo of that. She was like, "Yeah, you're really getting good. I think you really could make something out of this." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." And after that song, what happened after that song? After that song, I made another one with Miku called Obsidian, which is like a dark drum and bass track, which was very heavily inspired by Camelia's songs.
Yeah.
And then after that one, I was like, okay, I think I want to do an English Vocaloid song. So I made one with Rin Kagamine called Dandelion.
Mhm.
And after that, I was like, okay, this is really fun. But at the time, I was going through a lot of mental stuff, so I didn't really know where I wanted to take anything, what I wanted to do. So at that time, I kind of fell off producing for Vocaloid, and I just spent a lot of time just doing covers for a little bit, and then eventually I kind of fell back into production because I needed instrumentals for songs, and I at the time I was like, a lot of the people that I wanted to work with were booked, or they weren't able to deliver what I wanted. So I was like, okay, then I'll just remake the instrumentals myself. So I did
Yeah.
that for a while, and then subsequently, I fell into the nerdcore community out of nowhere, and I started making music with Oreo and a bunch of other people, and that really upped my production game. And then after a few several years later, I was like, okay, let's use all the skills I've learned and let's see if we can get back into producing Vocaloid. Because at the time, which was like last year, I was watching a lot of it was kind of like a lot of my producer friends have been calling this like the Vocaloid Renaissance, which I definitely believe it is. And I was just really inspired watching just this resurgence and so many new producers coming up and so many old ones coming back. And I'm like, wow, this is really fun. I want to be part of this.
Yeah.
So I decided I would sit down and make a Miku song because at the time the Miku Expo opened up the contest again, and I was like, "Oh, why not? Let me." Like, I really didn't expect anything out of it. I was just gonna use it as a motivator for me to make a song. So I was like, "I'll do it," and I had so much fun doing it that I was like, I want to make more. I want to make others. So while I was working on that song, I was working on several others, and it just kept snowballing. And I was like, wow. And especially with a lot of the new technology that's out with synth V and a lot of the new Vocaloid voice banks, it's like the possibilities for English is really, really high. So the stories that I've wanted to tell that I haven't been able to tell because I don't really speak Japanese well enough to tell those stories, now
Mhm.
I have the vehicles to do that. So now I'm like, oh my goodness, finally! Because for a while I've been sitting on so many tracks because more often than not, I'll just make beats for fun and then
Yeah.
just have a fully fleshed instrumental and have nothing to do with it. Now I get to use those to tell the stories that I've wanted to tell and to express the ideas that I've wanted to express. And it's just, very, very exciting. So I'd say, what was it? 2015, 2018 was like my quote unquote first era. And then my new era is starting now.
Hell yeah. Everyone, go listen to Miku Make You Move. It's a banger. It's a banger.
Thank you. Thank you.
I had
Thank
it
you. Thank
stuck in
you.
my head all day yesterday.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
So since you've been around the space for a long time, what's the
Mhm.
most common trend you see amongst Youtaites, Vocaloid musicians, Vsingers, whatever, that makes them feel demotivated for making content?
Hmm. Something that demotivates people. Um. Good question. Let me see. Um, wow. Ooh, really gotta think for that one. Common one that makes people demotivated to make content. I'd say. Um, ooh, okay. I'd say a lot of people feel demotivated from making stuff when they see someone that's bigger doing it already, and
Mhm.
so then they're like, "Why should I do it? Because this person already did it, and no one's gonna care about mine." And I've seen that mindset carry on from the earliest days up to now,
Mhm.
and also another. I guess I wouldn't call it a trend, more of a mindset. Is that a lot of people are just like, "Well, I'm not. I don't know if I'm good enough to sing this song. I don't know if I'm good enough to sing that. This person sings much better than me." And I'm like, "Yo, if you're having fun, do it, upload it, and go for it." Because the beauty of this community specifically is that a lot of these songs are kind of blank canvases because they are sung by vocal synths, so it's like your voice brings something unique to it, and I think
Mhm.
that's really, really fun, really exciting because no two covers can ever sound exactly the same, and I think that's part of what makes it so fun. It's that everyone's gonna be slightly different and bring their own experiences, their own personality to it. Is there another trend that I've seen? Um, no, I don't think so. So I'd say probably, the motivation because they see someone bigger doing it, and then also because they don't think their voice is good enough to do it as well.
Mhm.
I'd say those two I've seen a recurring thing happen more often than not.
Yeah, for sure. And that actually does answer like kind of my second question, which was like, what do you have to say to people who might feel demotivated for doing stuff? Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
in which you have answered that. But what about you? Whenever you feel demotivated, what helps you feel better about continuing doing what you do?
Sometimes I forget that inherently I am a fanboy at heart and I'm a
Mhm.
fan of every single person that I listen to. I'm a fan of you, I'm a fan of everyone else. So whenever I feel demotivated, I remember to go back and watch everyone else's stuff and see what they're
Mhm.
doing because it always energizes me to the point where eventually I feel like that was so cool. All these things are so amazing. Now I want to be a part of that and make things too. So that's usually what
Mhm.
I do. I go back into my fanboy mode and I just enjoy everything everyone else is doing and I like scream about it on Twitter in all caps and key smash and that's usually just how I go about it. And yeah, so that's been like my main thing. That's what keeps me going because it is very much You know, you feel inspired to do things, you make the thing, and then you're tired, and then you don't want to make anything. So it's like I feel like
Mhm.
in that time, for me, what's always helped is just taking in content as well. Cause it's like you can't just create stuff without stuff in you already, you know? You got a lot of a lot of what I make is inspired by the people that I like to listen to. So
Yeah.
I think I have to remember to also listen to their stuff too.
Yeah, for sure. All right. That's all the questions for present.
Yo?
Let's go ahead and talk about the future.
Yeah.
We blasted through the past questions like low key.
My yeah, oh my god.
The present took like if I'm I'm looking at like my recording and like I think the present took like 20 minutes and then this the past took like 20 minutes and then the present took like 30 30 or 40 minutes. All right. Time to move on to the future. I am using my hands in which you
Yeah.
cannot see because I am a VTuber. Um,
Yep.
Is there anybody, producer, VTuber, Youtaite, Outtite, that is a dream collab for you?
Oh, sit down, strap in. I've had a list. Are you kidding me? Oh my god. Since 2012, I've had a list. Okay,
Absolutely.
so dream producer. This will never change. There's only one person that I would ever want to work with. Camellia.
Absolutely.
100%. 100%. Always.
That's mine too.
Always. Forever. Forever. I'm gonna make it happen. I don't know how, but I'm gonna make it happen. And then for Japanese Youtaite, I really want to work with. Ooh. Okay, so I'll give a male and a female voice.
Okay.
I really would like to work with for males, I'd like to work with Chogakse. And
Mm,
then for females, I'd really love to work with Hanatan. I don't know if a lot of
mm,
people know about Hanatan, but she's been around since the early days and she's got an amazing voice. She actually does a lot of stuff with Kikuo.
mm. Yeah.
So if you look up Waltz of Malice, Hanatan, you'll get a good idea of who she is. Yeah, so
Shout out
those
to
are my
Kikuo
dream.
as well. Another S
Shout out
tier
to
producer.
Kikuo. Oh, that's another one I want to work with actually. Kikuo and Camellia. Oh my god. Oh. So those two, and then for Youtaite. Oh. Hmm. Honestly, I would really love to work with Valley. Do you know Valley?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'd really love to work with Valley. If you look up Bird Brain Valley. They did an
Bird Brain
amazing
Valley.
cover.
I'm
Bird
searching
Brain.
up bird. Oh, wait, hold on. Bird Brain Valley?
Yeah, the
Oh,
Valley.
Valley.exe.
Yeah, they've got a really amazing voice.
I will take a listen to that later.
Yeah. So I think that would be my those are my dream collab goals.
Yeah, absolutely. What about VTuber? Like whether it's a song or a
Oh,
collab. Like just a stream collab or
oh my
whatever.
god. I would love to do a song with okay, so for males, I would really love to do a song with Ren Zozoto. I really love his voice
Hey,
and his production style.
shout out
And
Renzo.
then shout out Ren Zoto. And then for females, I would really love to do a song with Iron Mouse.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Her voice is
Absolutely.
unbelievable.
It's crazy. I'm like, oh my god, girl, one day, one of these days, please.
Absolutely. Is there any kind of content that is not music related that you would like to do more in the future?
Mm. Yes, I want to do. So I have this idea
Mhm.
where I want to do content where it's kind of like I don't know how to explain this, But it's kind of like mini. God, how do I explain this? It's like it's gonna be like recorded content where it's just me in my room interacting with different Vocaloids, and it's like paired with visuals and sound effects. So it's kind of like an anime, but it's not animated. It'll be like static images that kind of
Like an
tell the
animatic.
story. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yes, yes. That is something that I want to get really, really into doing.
Hmm.
And that's
Yeah, for
something I'm
sure.
actively trying to work towards doing because I think I have some specific ideas that I'm like, ooh, no one's ever done this before, so let me do this. So I definitely gonna be doing a lot of that this year. That's something I definitely want to get into.
Yeah, for sure. Eh,
Um, I've actually kind of teased into doing that because I actually have a on my channel there's a video that says I did a let's play with Teto, and it's like me and her sitting and she's playing Sonic, and but that one's more musical related, but that's
mhm.
essentially the idea of what I'm trying to do more of because I think stuff like that is really really fun for me because like I've always had in my heart of hearts one of my favorite things to do is just make stories and tell funny stories with characters and
Yeah,
make them interact in ways they normally wouldn't. So I'm like, I have the skill set to do that, so I will do it.
absolutely. No, 100%. And if you were doing like other content that ends up not being music related, have you
Mhm.
thought about it? Is it gonna go on the Kuraiinu channel, or are you gonna make a new channel for it?
I'll keep it all here. I don't really have the spoons to throw it anywhere else. But if I ever did, I probably wouldn't say anything about it because if I ever did do something else that wasn't related to what I'm doing now, I would just be doing it purely for fun. And if people find it and they think it's me, then hey, you found me. But I won't really announce it. You know?
Yeah, no, for sure. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah.
Are you ever worried that the internet might evolve in a way that'll make making content unfun for you?
No,
Mm,
I'm I've had many moments because I've seen how it's changed and how it's evolved, and there were moments where I was like, "Wow, it's over for me."
mhm.
But then I kind of got over that, and I was like, "Let me see how I can insert myself into this new ecosystem."
Yeah,
And usually, I find ways back, so I don't think it'll ever change in a way that'll be really scare me because I've reached a point in my life where I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm very, very capable of adapting if I have to. Because
yeah,
I've a lot of people like those who know that I've had so many aliases and I've done different things in so many different places to the point where I'm like, okay, now I know, at least for me, that I'd be okay no matter what I did. Because I can build if I had to build something up from scratch, I could and I'd be perfectly okay.
yeah. No, for sure. And so, like, what kind of mindset kind of helps you with not worrying about it so much? Just like knowing that that you can adapt to whatever's going on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For me, my mindset is that at my core, I love to create.
Mhm.
And for me, for at least for me personally, because I've learned how to do so many different things, there's no worry in my mind of oh, how do I stop doing this one thing and start doing this thing? Because it's like I already know how to do that. So I'd say one thing, even though you didn't ask for me to give advice, I'd say I'd recommend, learning to do different things, learning how to at least learning how the different aspects of this content creator world work, learning about like, oh, how do I video edit? How do I how does illustration work? How does audio stuff work? I think learning a lot of the different fundamentals for all of those things can be very, very helpful because you never know when a new a new thing comes in where that skill that you learned is very very valuable, so
Mhm.
you can never really predict. So I think and then just in general I think really really loving creating is very important as well because when you love to do it you'll find a way around whatever new hurdle comes your way, I
Yeah.
think.
No, definitely. Absolutely, for sure. And in terms of longevity for content creation and making music for so
Mhm.
long, what is the
Mhm.
one thing that you think has helped you the most with continuing you do what you do for as long as you have?
Being open to all different types of music production, because for a while I thought, oh, it's just Vocaloid music, I guess, would be the main thing that people would want. And then I saw Amelie blow up, and I was like, oh, people like to see people singing anime covers, and I was like, oh, okay, so that's also a viable option. And then I discovered nerdcore, and I was like, people are just making songs about characters in video games or television or shows, and they're making huge, huge careers out of that. So being open to all forms of, what people make music for is very, very important, because when you keep an open mind, you can find so many new inspirations, and you can also find out new techniques as well, which I think is very, very fun and can help you grow. And it also keeps it fresh too, because I think if I didn't discover nerdcore and I didn't fall into that before coming back to Vocaloid, I wouldn't be able to tell stories in the way that I can now, because I think there's a very unique way that people in nerdcore make music and how they write lyrics and how they sing and how they express themselves, that I think is very, very unique to them. And bringing that into Vocaloid, I think is something that I think a lot of people should really look into, because you being able to write from, like, for example, being able to write from the perspective of a character, I think is a very invaluable skill. And that's actually something that I think Jin, the guy who made Kagero Project, actually did. And I think that's why his series blew up at the way it did, because people were like, wow, this is so cool. It's a whole story. There's all these characters and they have their own tale. And it's just Ia singing all on the track, but it's like a full-fledged story. And I think
Yeah.
being able to do that is very, very invaluable, because also it can lead to other kinds of, jobs as well, where people are like, hey, we're making a, what do you call it, we're making a show about all these characters and we want a musician to write on it. It's like Hasbin Hotel and Hell of a Boss. A lot of these songs are just, if you think about it, a lot of them are just nerdcore. It's like
Yeah.
these characters are singing from their point of view, and someone had to write from that. And a lot of the people making those songs are actually from the nerdcore community. So I'm
Yeah.
like, and I think that's why a lot of these songs are so good, is because these people understand that mindset of like, okay, I'm in this character's mind. What would they be saying and how would they say it? So I think, yeah, be open to all the kinds of music people are making.
Yeah, for sure. And that mentality, I'm sure you believe will definitely help you continue for more years to come.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because when I tell you, I've never been more excited and just motivated, and there's just so many ideas that I have. There's no time. There's not enough time to make all of these things, but it's just the left, right, and center. It's just there's all these things, because I've been exposed to all these different forms of music. It's like, oh my god, the sky is the limit. I think I've got enough music in me for like the next 30 years. I'm not exaggerating when I say that. Like, the ideas that I have, it's just endless.
Yeah, for sure. Now, you have taught me personally a
Oh.
lot about losing expectations and not
Mhm.
worrying too much about what the future could hold, because you can never expect what the future could hold.
Yeah.
Um and for me personally, that was a huge help, and I think there's a lot of other people who might be listening to this right now, or watching the video. I don't know if this is ever going to become a podcast. If it does, whatever. Like
Mhm.
if this goes out
Mhm.
on Spotify or something, I don't know. Um,
Mhm.
whatever you're listening to this on, whether you're on YouTube or Spotify or whatever. I think there could be a lot of people who also struggle with the idea of worrying about the future, um,
Mhm.
and being afraid that they're not going to be able to either A, do everything that they want,
Mhm.
or B, they're, afraid of, maybe they are afraid of blowing up and they don't necessarily want that, or they're afraid that they're
Mhm.
not going to blow up, whatever.
Mhm.
What words do you have for people who might put up expectations and in the end up getting disappointed when things don't go the way that they expected?
Okay, so for me, I'd say make friends in as many different places as you can, people who do different things, and have as much have as many different what's the word perspectives as you can on like what life is and what life is about, because I think that can really help ground you in like what reality is and what reality isn't. Because I think one thing that I've seen happen with a lot of people is that they only have friends who only do this. And as a result, your whole world and your whole mindset becomes very heavily consumed by everything that this is. And you kind of forget that no, like life can be about being a florist, life can be about being a doctor, life can be about we're working at a bookstore. It's like there's so many different things that make life beautiful. And I think remembering to experience all of those different other aspects of life can really help, because there are so many expectations and pressures in this kind of world, content creator world, that if you told this to someone in the quote unquote real world, they'd look at you like you're crazy, because you're like, why are you worried about that? And a lot of the times you need someone to say that to you, like, it's really not that big a deal. Because more often than not, it's not as insane as it seems. It's just that these social media platforms make this stuff look so big because so many people get access to this, and the feedback you get can be so instant that you start to mentally think like, okay, everything, like everything in my life revolves around this is all that it'll ever be. And no, it's really not, and it really shouldn't be. So, and yeah, they know but I do get it. I trust me and trust and believe. I understand the pressures, the expectations, and sometimes it gets very, very scary out here. But
Mhm.
if and this is coming from me, if you really love to do this, I believe that you'll something will keep calling you back, and I'd say never ignore that voice and just keep coming back, keep on making stuff. And also I think having people who inspire you as well, and if you can manage to befriend them as well, that helps as well. I've been very fortunate to meet a lot of the people that inspired me all those years, and meeting them and talking to them about about what they think about, what they worry about. You start to realize one thing I've learned too: no matter how big you get, your worries and fears kind of don't really change. And a
Mhm.
lot of the pressures and the way you feel about this now, none of that really changes. And you don't really in some ways you don't really change as well. And I think it's so important to just remember that, and remember that you're still you. Remember who you are as a person. Remember the things that make you happy when the computer is turned off. What things are you passionate about? And also having things that you enjoy just for you is very important as well. Because one
Yeah.
thing, oh my god, one thing that this internet world teaches us, really, which is really bad, is that you can monetize anything. If you have a hobby that you're
Mhm.
really good at, why aren't you making money off it? Why aren't you posting about it everywhere? And it's like, no, 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 no. You gotta have some things for you. You really gotta have some things that are just for you, because that really helps you stay, I think, grounded spiritually as well, because you don't lose too much of yourself. Because
Absolutely.
I think we get too obsessed with putting too much of ourselves out there that we forget that we don't have anything left for ourselves. And I think
Mhm.
that, and I've seen how that affects people. And it's really scary. That's
Yeah.
part of the reason why I don't really post as much. And if I'm posting, it's usually just about, something that I'm making or stuff like that. Cause it's like you gotta keep parts of yourself for only your friends and only for you. I think that's very important.
No, 100%. And you know what? Like, I do want to bounce off of that a little bit, because I
Mhm,
originally wasn't gonna talk about this like in this recording, because this is your interview and
mhm,
this is about you. Um,
mhm,
but I do want to bounce off of that because you said a couple things there that I'm like, absolutely. And with my own experiences, I've learned those as well, you know, like definitely when you were talking about like having people that are in different places to kind of show you that, you know, life is more than being about online. 100%. Definitely like one of the biggest things that I've learned and has helped me out so much is to just go out and do things and experience life and just, it doesn't matter what it is, just go do it, you know? Whether you think that you might like doing that thing or not, do it anyways, because you never know if something that you end up doing is going to be a new passion for you. It could be literally anything, you know, go try playing volleyball or something. Take a class on pottery. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, you know. Definitely like try as many things as you can, because you never know what any one of those could be something that you actually end up enjoy really doing. And then no, 100%, like, you know, when you were talking about like being fortunate enough to meet some of the people that you've looked up to and having people that inspire you, you know, definitely the other big thing is like for me that I've learned is that, you know, you never know if someday you become the person that inspires others. And like the big thing for me was like, I was literally thinking about this before starting this recording. I was thinking about how fortunate I am to be able to call you my friend, because I've been, you know, watching you since like 2015.
Crazy.
Like 2015, I think 2015 I was watching you for a while, and then I kind of unfortunately forgot that you existed until like 2022 or something, or till 2021, somewhere around there. And then I was like, oh yeah, I remember this guy, because I saw your King, whenever your King cover was. When was that?
That was 2021.
Okay, so yeah, when you posted your King cover, that's like when I started like listening to you again. And to be inspired by you, and then to like be able to now call you my friend, is something that blows my mind. But at the same time, I have to remember that like you're not always going to meet the people that you've looked up to. However, you'll never know if you and your friends end up becoming the people that other people are looking at and are thinking, I want to be like them.
You know, it's crazy.
And it is really crazy, because like, as you said earlier in the interview, you were talking about how you kind of started doing this because you just wanted to meet these people that you thought were so cool. And I did the exact same thing. Like, that's exactly how I started. Was I was watching like Iron Mouse and Sea Dog VA and like who was like the other people that was like in that group. I was watching like Snuffy and Yan and Aethel and you know, I was like watching them, and I was like, oh man, I want to become a VTuber, and I want to meet these people and work with them and stuff like that. And also Camellia doing work for Hololive was another really big, like, that was another really big, when I found out that Camellia, because I was listening to Camellia since like 2015 as well, or 2014. When I found out that Camellia was doing work for Hololive, I was like, that's where I want to go. I want to be in there so I can work with Camellia.
Right? Oh my God.
But like, you know, I was watching these people and being like, oh, I want to do this so that I can like become friends with them, right?
Yeah.
You never know if there's someone out there watching this video right now, looking at you and I and being like, oh, I want to be a VTuber so I can meet these two. You know,
Mhm.
you never
Mhm.
know if that's going to be the case.
Yeah.
And so,
Oh, like, ooh.
and it's so, for me, very surreal to think about, because to me, that makes me motivated to make things, because it doesn't matter whether it's 100,000 people or 100 people.
Mhm.
There's going to be someone who looks at what you do and is going to want to do the same.
Yep. Yep. And one thing I've learned too in my personal experience is that when you decide to make a very niche thing that you're
Mhm,
like, no one's gonna care about this, but I really want to do this.
mhm.
Some some people in bigger industries look at that.
Yeah,
Like they don't look at your other stuff that goes like crazy viral. They look at that.
yeah,
And that's a really interesting thing that I've seen happen to me and several other friends more often than not. And I'm like, I think I know why that happens too, is because when they look at more often than not, some of the best content tends to be the stuff with the smallest views actually.
yeah,
Because oh my god, so some of the stuff you can find
100%.
where you're like, why is this person not well known? But then you end up finding out that, oh, now they're doing stuff with celebrities, and it's like, well, that's why. It's because the more often than not, the biggest passion and the most work you put into tends to be with the stuff that's more niche because that means the most to you. And that's where people can really gauge like what your skill set is.
Yeah, no,
So I'd say,
absolutely.
yeah, you really can never predict. So I'd say, just really have fun with it and keep going at it because you'd be very surprised where you'll end up in like 3 years.
Absolutely. So once again, for anybody who's listening or watching this or whatever, if you're worried about the future and you have expectations and you're afraid that those expectations won't be met, just like think about the fact that you can't predict what the future is going to hold. And of course, that
Mhm.
may be scary, but just know that no matter where you end up, what you do, there's going to be at least one person that you can make an impact on.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
We went on quite a tangent there.
Whoops, sure did. Whoops.
but
Whoop.
that's like what I love about doing this.
Mm-hmm.
This is great.
Yeah.
So, I would like you to give
Mhm.
a message for the future yourself. And then in the
Ooh.
future, you can look back on this video and listen to your own message that you've given yourself.
Okay. Let me think.
And it could be literally anything.
Okay. To the me of 5 years later, hope you're able to make all the stuff you've wanted to make, that you're working with all the people you've wanted to work with, and I hope to see that one-shot manga you've been planning finally come out.
Bars. Was that the whole thing? That's the message?
Oh god, I like blacked out for a second. Yeah.
I was like so
I was like
confused.
thinking about the
Bro,
future.
I thought you like disconnected or something. I was like, "Uh-oh.
I
The winter
I started
storm
thinking
got
about
him."
the future. Nah, man. I started thinking about the future, and then I was like, and then I really started fantasizing about the future, and I was like, wow, this would be really fun. And then, and before you knew it, I was lost in thought, and I was like, oh wait, I'm here. I'm supposed to be talking. Whoops. Woo, boy,
Oh my. No, it's okay. You're good.
that's crazy.
Yeah, no, for sure. Did you say, is that your full message? Cuz
Yeah,
okay, cool. Just making
yeah,
sure
yeah,
that I don't move on and you're not done.
yeah. You're good. You're good.
All right, well, that was it. That was the last question. So,
Woo. Woo!
technically, I have one more question, and that is,
All right.
go ahead, tell everyone watching or listening where to find you. Plug whatever you'd like. It could be literally any plug that you want to put in. Go ahead.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, you guys can find me under the name Kuraiinu, Kuraiinu. You can just look that up. You can find everything that I've ever done everywhere. Truly. Unfortunately, I have to put underscores on some places because somebody took the name already. But you can usually find me under that name easily everywhere.
Hell yeah. And go listen to Miku Make You Move.
Go listen to Miku Make You Move. It's the
Yeah.
song I made. Go listen. Go give that a listen. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was big fun.
Yeah.